Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video, and we're back with another Leeds United news video, and let's talk about a few things. Of course, let's start off with Charlie Cresswell. Of course, the Toulouse deal went off, and he came back for, pre-season, and we're like, oh, everyone thought, yeah, he's probably going to go. I thought he was going to go anyway, and he'll go to a different club. I didn't think he would stay, especially after we signed Joe Rodon, when he's going to be like fourth choice centre-back, third or fourth choice centre-back. I don't think he would have started at all this season or played a lot this season, and he wants game time, which is fair to him, really, as a player. And it's Adam Pope tweeted out saying that Leeds United defender Charlie Cresswell move to Toulouse has been revived. Negotiations restarted to push the deal over the line in the next 48 hours after it broke down over personal terms earlier this week. Championship interest in the centre back too. So it looks like Toulouse back in for Charlie Cresswell, and it looks like they're going to try and offer him more, personal terms. I don't know what the personal terms that he disagreed with, whether that was like, I don't know, whether that was like wages or maybe it was game time and he wants to be a starter, and they were going to say you're going to be like rotating and he wants to actually be like a starting centre back. I don't know what the personal terms actually were, know nothing about that, but it looks like he either might go to Toulouse, but there's also other championship teams interested in him as well. So maybe this Toulouse deal might go off, and maybe he wants to stay in England, and maybe he wants to still play in England, which means going to another championship team, and which means we'll have to verse him next season. So yeah, that's possible that we might actually verse him next season if he goes to another championship club, if he does want to, stay in England, which is possible. My thoughts on this is, of course, he needs game time, as I already just said, and in my opinion, letting him go, is it really the biggest? Oh well, to me, I get he's a good player and he's supposed to be like one of the big players for the future, right? But for me, I'm just like, well, we got Rodon, we got Strauch, we'll probably bring in another centre back as well, and I think we're fine. Like, I understand people saying, oh, he's young and he's talented and stuff, but I do feel, I don't know, if he's not going to get game time, then for the best of his career, he should leave and go look for game time, because he's not going to get it at Leeds United, it looks like. So yeah, that's all I got to say on the Charlie Cresswell situation. Next up, let's talk about something else. Bobby let's try that again. Bobby Deckerova-Reid is a free agent now, and Leeds United have been looking at him to sign him, but it looks like that he won't be coming to Leeds due to the fact of Leicester being interested in him. And yeah, I don't think we'll get a free agent. Like, free agents are very hard to get when you're in the Championship and a Premier League club comes in for a player like that. You're basically like, oh well, we're not going to sign him because they would rather play Premier League football, which is understandable. Like, anyone would rather play Premier League football than Championship football. Well, most players besides Joe Rodon, who wanted to come to Leeds. But in Deckerova-Reid's sense, he probably's like, I'm a Premier League player, I play in the Premier League and I want to play more in the Premier League. And with his contract being up, he's like, well, I can go to Leicester and play Premier League football, and even if they do get this massive points deduction, if I perform really well, I can get another move at the end of the season to another Premier League club and keep being a Premier League football, which is fair to him. Which I don't know how strong this deal actually was for us to try and get over the line. Apparently, we were very, very interested in trying to sign him. It was strong that we were trying to sign him. Well, it says here the free agent market is as strong as it has been. It has been in several years this summer, but unfortunately, with that bring extra competition. Leeds have already seen how difficult it is to looking to praise those out of contracts into the Championship, having lost out to Ipswich Town in the race for a long time, targeting Ben Johnson as well. So yeah, we have realised how difficult it is, and it would be difficult to sign a player into the Championship when Premier League clubs come in for the exact same player. Premier League clubs are coming in for the same player. For a free agent especially, they would rather play Premier League football, which is always fair to them, and nothing really against them as players. Like, they really deserve it. Now, things have come out as well about Leeds United should be laughing all the way to the bank if Euro Club fork out 20 million for first team player. I need to read this a bit because I don't know who they're talking about. I think they're talking about Ilya Meslier. Ilya Meslier to Marseille radar with 20 million asking price emerges. So we're looking for 20 million for Ilya Meslier, as we already knew that. Will it happen? Yeah, the Italian manager has his eyes on Leeds United's number one following the Whites failing for promotion, and have relayed these claims. The Daily Mail has relayed these claims. What they also share is that Leeds are looking for a fee in exchange of 20 million to let the goalkeeper leave in this summer, of course. Meslier is currently contracted to Leeds United until 2026, so he still has, 2 more years on his deal. having penned that long-term deal back in 2021 after his first Premier League season. So he made that deal at the same time that Bamford did. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they both made the same deal basically. When Bamford made his deal, Meslier made a deal as well for basically the same. I forgot that it was actually for the exact same amount of years. A sale of Meslier makes a lot of sense for Leeds this summer for a few reasons, both sporting and financial. From a PSR perspective, Leeds should be looking to make the most profit through players that do the least damage to Fox plans in the 2024-2025 season, which Meslier would be virtually top of that list. Now, reading that, what that kind of says is getting rid of him wouldn't be that bad. That's what I'm reading that. But Fark, the way Fark has talked about Meslier and the way Fark, we've heard him talk about Meslier and the way he goes on about him being the best keeper in the league. I mean, he said that. I think Fark really likes Meslier and wants him to stay. I think he's one of the top targets that Leeds United that he wants to stay. Like, as in Fark wants to keep Meslier and thinks he's the best number one for the Championship to get us back into the Premier League. Here it says at 20 million, Leeds will be selling a player that looks to be going backwards in his development at the age of 24, with weaknesses in his game that aren't getting better with Fark's patience or coaching. Now, I see that, but as I said, Fox only had praise for Meslier this season, I feel like. I mean, he said he was the best keeper in the league, so it's only been praise, so I don't buy some of that. There's not a goalkeeper at Championship level that commands that sort of fee, and you could find multiple that would represent a marked improvement in shot stopping to the Frenchman while being far more competent in build-up play. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I can see that. Like, Meslier wasn't that great this season. Like, he did let in a lot of goals. Even because our defense was great, you know, our defense saved him a lot of times, in my opinion. But even though I say that, I still think he's a really good keeper, Meslier. I think he's a good keeper. But I can't agree with that. Like, if we get 20 million for him, we could bring in a keeper for less money that would do a probably similar job to what Meslier did, or even a better job than what he did last season. Which, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's hard to expect 20 million for Meslier after the last 3 seasons of his career. Yeah, he's not been great the last 3 seasons. But those 2 Premier League seasons, I look at the defence mainly. I don't really blame Meslier for those 2 seasons in the Premier League where we just stayed up and then got relegated. I kind of blame the defence. I think our defence was so poor in the Premier League, and he was getting shots taken at him everywhere. I mean, he had like the most shots taken at him in the league, I'm pretty sure, for both seasons. I think something like that. He like had the most shots against him out of any goalkeeper in the Premier League for those 2 seasons, you know, which would have knocked his confidence down a lot. Yeah, as I said, it's hard to expect that money. The 49ers get a call from Marseille with such a bid. They should be getting him on the next plane to the south of France. Yeah, I mean, if they come in for 20 million, you got to snap their hands off for it. You know, I do like Meslier, but if a 20 million for a goalkeeper, bang, you snap your hands off. Especially Meslier, who hasn't performed, as I said, hasn't performed great last season and wasn't that good. You could replace him for half the price and have 10 million to spare for another signing or 2, which is another case you could say. We get the 20 million, we could sign a player for what, maybe 10 million for a keeper, and then you have 10 million to spare, which could be spent on like a loan or 2, or a signing and a loan. You know, that's possible. You know, getting that money in so we can do that. So that's the news on Meslier's move to Marseille, which could be happening, but we're not quite sure yet. And then the final news that we have to talk about, one of the other news we have to talk about is 3.5 million player won't be joining Leeds United this summer, as agreement now reached with another club. So yeah, we were looking at signing. Where is it here? Leeds were interested in signing. I'm gonna try and say his name. Kuhab Druich. I think that's how you say Druich. I think that's right. Leeds have been linked with a handful of wingers this summer, but as mentioned, they won't be moving unless they lose some, obviously. Like, if we don't lose Nonto or Somerville, which I think we will lose a Somerville and a Nonto, or like a Dan James, but I think Somerville will leave, and I think Nonto will leave, in my opinion. Former Preston North End loanee Liam Miller is one of the players that are strongly linked. Yep, that's been linked a bunch recently about, like, signing Liam Miller. Leeds said to be watching him in Copa America with Canada under Jesse Marsh, of course, because yep. Durich is another reportedly on the list, with journalist Ben Jacobs having labelled him as one to watch in the coming weeks. However, according to the new report from Foot Marketer, Druich will not be making the move to Ellen Road this summer. Leeds were always going to face stiff competition to win the race for Drudge, with as many as 10 clubs said to be interested, with PSV were the one and now look to have won the race. I mean, PSV, I mean, they're a big club, you know. They're, you know, also in the top league and, you know, in the respective, you know, the top division in the Eredivisie, you know, also being the champions. The Eredivisie champions have reached an agreement on the fee of around 3.5 million, with Drudge priority always having been on a move to PSV. So he's always wanted to move to PSV, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. So Drudge will not be coming to Leeds United. I do feel like we'll be getting Liam Miller. That's one thing. That's if I could make a prediction of a signing we will make very, very soon, it's Liam Miller. I think he'll be one of the first signings in the door. I think he'll be a signing. I could see Liam Miller being the signing in the door once if Somerville leaves, like a day or two later, he'll be in. And one final news. I know I said that was the final news, but we do have one more thing to talk about, and that's Real Betis wants a quick fire Leeds United deal for Diego Llorente as training camp update emerges. Basically, Real Betis want to sign Leeds defender Diego Llorente as quick as possible due to the fact that preseason starting and all that. The Spanish news outlet Diario AS report online the 5th of July that Manuel Pellegrini, Betis manager, wants the 30-year-old signed by the time the club travels to Austria for a preseason training camp next Wednesday, which is the 10th of July. So they basically got like 5 days? Yeah, they basically got 5 days to sign him. I think this deal will get done, to be honest, but I hope we don't act like mugs. Like, I saw people on Twitter, I think, when we said no to the deal of getting rid of Diego, and to people on Twitter were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just get him gone. Just get him gone. Let's not be taken for mugs. I don't think we should be doing that and getting rid of a player just because we don't want him, right? We don't want to be taken for mugs. We want to get as much money as we can for each player as possible. Betis' interest in Llorente remain as they look to agree a deal with Leeds United. The Whites rejected the La Liga side first offer with negotiations going on. Yeah, that's when everyone was having a meltdown about just get him gone, just get him gone. Like, no, calm down. We're gonna get as much. We're not gonna be taken for mugs like we used to be. Okay. The 49ers aren't going to be taken for mugs when selling players like we used to be. There is no reason why this deal cannot be agreed between the two clubs. Llorente clearly has no future under Daniel Farke at Ellen Road, yeah, which is true. I mean, the Leeds fans don't want him either. He has spent the last 18 months out on loan with Roma in Italy, and I thought he did all right there. Although the Serie A side decided against triggering their buy option for the Spaniard, yeah, they didn't want to sign him. Which, yeah, I think we already knew that was going to happen. That therefore leaves Llorente in a state of limbo, with his future up in the air. A return to his homeland, where he could reunite with Mark Rocker at Betis, makes a lot of sense. However, as per Adam Pope, the Whites rejected the Betis initial bid for Llorente as it didn't match what the club were looking for, which I say is fair. Like, let's not be taken for mugs, as I said. Nothing less, it looks like as conversations are ongoing that there will therefore be hope that an agreement can be reached between the two sides. There is little point in Llorente sticking around at Ellen Road, which, yeah, you can agree with that. I think Llorente will leave in the next week. I could see him be leaving in legit, like, tomorrow or the day after. So that's all the news we really got for today. There's no one signed yet. You know, there might be something happening later, of course. It's very early. You know, I'm pretty sure it's the morning for you guys over in England. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's the morning over there. I mean, it's 9 p.m. for me. So it's really hard getting this content out sometimes. I want to actually say something. It's really hard sometimes getting this content out due to the fact it's 9 p.m. right now. When transfers come in, I just want to tell you guys this, because you guys might not know. When transfers come in, for me, it could be between 12 a.m., so midnight, to like 6 a.m. in the morning, like between that mark. Normally between that mark there's that's a signing. When we make signings, normally it's between that mark. It's normally between 12 and 6 a.m. So I just want to tell you guys that if I make a video and it's a bit later and it's a couple of hours after, I'll make my opinion and you guys can watch the video. But I'm just saying that's why there might be a later video if it does happen, if we do make a signing. So yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time.